holds the most grudges on your show?
Male.
Who's second?
Ooh. Second. Tisha? I say Tisha, but she don't be wanting to be. You know what I'm saying? But
I think Tisha.
She's sweet, but she don't.
She's very sweet.
Yeah, but she be trying to be mean. So
not trying.
Nobody expected the night to end the way it did. One minute, it was just another tense sit-down, the kind of emotional confrontation fans of reality TV have seen 100 times before. Voices raised, feelings hurt, old wounds reopened. But the next minute, everything changed. Cameras were still rolling when the energy in the room shifted from heated to dangerous. What started as a conversation between Stormi and LaTisha quickly spiraled into something far more serious, something nobody on set was prepared for. And by the time production finally stepped in, Stormi was no longer arguing. She was shaking, struggling to breathe, and moments later, she collapsed. This wasn't just drama for television anymore. This was real life, real fear, and a real medical emergency unfolding in front of cast, crew, and millions of viewers who would later hear whispers about what truly happened behind the scenes. People thought it would be another explosive episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Instead, it turned into one of the most shocking moments the show has ever faced. And the scariest part? It was all caught on camera. To really understand how things got this intense, you have to look at the history between Stormi and LaTisha. Their tension didn't appear overnight. It had been building slowly, quietly, through side comments, misunderstandings, and unresolved feelings that never truly got addressed. From the outside, it always looked like polite distance, but behind that polite distance was a layer of discomfort that both women seemed to carry every time they were in the same room.
Pick it up, there's a lot going on, but now that I got it, I feel like basically what happened was Moses was cheating on Destiny apparently. That may or may not be the reason why they separated. Sonny came along at that time and was talking to him, and he was talking to another woman, and she was cool with that. And in some kind of way, he stopped talking to the other woman, and then within 90 days, he got married. Like,
that's not 90 days again.
It's a lot. Like, and then, so I do agree with Destiny. Like, what that say about you? Like, you just cool. Like, why would you do all that waiting for this?
Stormi came into the show as someone confident, outspoken, and unapologetic about her success. She built her brand, she stood firm in her opinions, and she didn't back down easily. That kind of strong personality naturally creates friction in a group dynamic, especially when egos and friendships are already fragile. Some cast members admired her boldness. Others felt she was too direct, too blunt, and sometimes too honest for comfort.
Like, this is crazy. Like, people are really offering you money to come on this show and lie. So at that point, I was like, forget it. It's a lie. Like, now I don't believe it.
LaTisha, on the other hand, carried herself with a very different energy. She was more guarded, more calculated in her responses, and deeply protective of her marriage, her reputation, and her place within the group. Over time, fans began to notice that whenever sensitive topics came up, LaTisha's demeanor would shift. She wouldn't always explode right away, but there was always that quiet tension beneath the surface. Their interactions were never completely hostile, but they were never fully warm either. It was the kind of relationship where smiles felt forced and conversations felt cautious. And in a reality show environment where emotions are constantly heightened, that kind of unresolved tension doesn't just disappear. It sits, it grows, and eventually it finds a moment to explode. What nobody expected was how personal things would become this time. Leading up to the confrontation, there had already been rumors circulating behind the scenes. Conversations about loyalty, trust, and private matters started leaking into group discussions. Stormi, known for addressing things directly, allegedly wanted clarity. She wasn't interested in whispering behind closed doors. She wanted honesty face-to-face, without confusion or misinterpretation. So when the meeting between her and LaTisha was arranged, the goal seemed simple.
Behind the Love and Marriage Huntsville page. No, okay, I'll say this. Nobody beat me up today. I ain't got beat up by a goddamn person. I'm gonna say that. Not a hand, not a nut. Sorry, folks like to lie. Not a touch. Okay. Yeah.
They've
sorry.
thrown shade at each other before.
Talk, clear the air, move forward. No audience drama, no chaos, just two women trying to resolve tension like adults. At least that was the plan. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. What was meant to be a calm conversation quickly turned emotional the moment certain topics were brought into the discussion. Witnesses say the atmosphere changed almost instantly. The room that once felt controlled suddenly felt heavy, tense, and uncomfortable. Stormi reportedly tried to explain her perspective.
Have to have people around you who have a similar mindset. Be okay with cutting off people who don't.
Speaking openly about how she felt about recent events and conversations that were happening within the group. She wasn't yelling at first. She wasn't aggressive. She was firm but composed. However, the deeper the conversation went, the more personal it became. And that's when LaTisha's reaction shifted. At first, it was subtle, a change in tone, a sharper response. Then came the defensive energy. According to people present, her voice got louder as she began to push back against what she felt were accusations and disrespect. The back and forth escalated faster than anyone anticipated. Words were no longer being exchanged calmly. Emotions were taking over. Production staff reportedly began to sense that things were getting out of hand, but before anyone could fully intervene, the argument reached a boiling point.
LaTisha snapped. Witnesses say the moment was sudden and intense. Hand gestures became more aggressive. Voices overlapped. The tension in the room was so thick that even crew members felt uneasy. Cameras kept recording as the confrontation grew louder, more emotional, and far more personal than intended. Stormi, who initially tried to hold her composure, started showing visible signs of distress. Her breathing became uneven, her hands were shaking, yet the argument didn't immediately stop. The emotional pressure in the room kept rising, and the intensity of the situation became overwhelming. Then, something truly alarming happened. Stormi suddenly stepped back, clutching her chest, visibly struggling to breathe. At first, some people assumed it was anxiety from the heated exchange, but within seconds, it became clear this was more serious. Her body language changed completely. She looked disoriented, pale, and emotionally drained all at once. Crew members rushed in as her breathing became shallow. Witnesses say she tried to speak but couldn't fully get her words out. Her body trembled, and tears streamed down her face as she attempted to steady herself. And then she collapsed. The room fell silent. This was no longer a disagreement. This was a medical crisis unfolding in real time. Production immediately halted filming as emergency services were called. Cast members who moments earlier were involved in a heated confrontation now stood frozen, watching the frightening reality of what had just occurred. Paramedics reportedly arrived quickly, administering oxygen and checking her vitals right there on set. People present described the scene as chaotic yet deeply emotional. Some cast members were visibly shaken, others were in shock. The gravity of the situation hit everyone at once. Stormi was placed on a stretcher and rushed to the hospital while cameras were shut down completely. And this is where the story took an even more serious turn. Doctors later confirmed that she experienced a severe stress reaction combined with extreme emotional overload. Her body had essentially gone into shock due to the intensity of the confrontation. She wasn't just upset, her nervous system had been pushed past its limit. Reports say she had to be monitored closely, with medical staff ensuring her breathing stabilized and her heart rate returned to normal levels. Sources close to the situation described her condition as critical in the immediate aftermath, not because of physical injury, but because of the severe emotional and physiological response to stress. Meanwhile, back on set, the atmosphere was completely different from what it had been just hours earlier. The same space that once held tension and arguments now felt heavy with guilt, fear, and unanswered questions. LaTisha reportedly remained silent after the incident, which only fueled speculation among fans and insiders. Some believe she was in shock herself. Others think she was trying to process the seriousness of what had just happened, but her silence became a major talking point online, with viewers questioning whether the confrontation went too far. But here's what truly shook the audience. Footage of the incident exists. Producers are now said to be reviewing every second carefully, trying to determine what can and cannot be aired. This wasn't just dramatic television. A cast member ended up in the hospital. That changes everything, legally, ethically, and emotionally. Behind the scenes, emotions are reportedly high. Stormi's family has been deeply concerned about her health and mental well-being. Her husband, in particular, is said to be furious about how the situation escalated before intervention happened. From his perspective, the argument should have been stopped much sooner. And honestly, many fans agree. The emotional impact of this situation has been massive. Stormi isn't just a reality TV personality. She's a mother, a wife, and a businesswoman. Experiencing such an intense public breakdown has affected her on a deeply personal level. Being rushed to the hospital after a confrontation is not something anyone walks away from unchanged. Sources close to her say she has been emotionally shaken, not just by the argument itself, but by how quickly everything spiraled out of control. Imagine walking into a conversation hoping for clarity and leaving in an ambulance. That kind of experience leaves a lasting emotional scar. Her supporters have flooded social media with messages of concern, prayers, and emotional support. Many viewers expressed that, regardless of disagreements, no one deserves to reach a point where their health is compromised due to stress. At the same time, the incident has also affected the cast dynamic in a major way. Trust has been damaged. Relationships that were already fragile now feel even more strained. The group is reportedly divided, with some cast members sympathizing deeply with Stormi, while others remain quiet, possibly unsure how to respond publicly. And then there's the psychological toll. Severe emotional confrontations, especially when captured on camera, create a unique kind of pressure. Stormi now has to process not only the trauma of the moment, but also the reality that millions of viewers will eventually witness parts of that experience. That's heavy. This situation also raises bigger questions about the limits of reality television. When does drama cross the line into danger? When does emotional tension become a health risk? These are conversations fans are now having more seriously than ever before. What nobody can ignore is how quickly everything changed. One heated exchange turned into a medical emergency within minutes. That's not scripted drama. That's real life unfolding in the most unexpected way. Now, the future remains uncertain. Will the footage ever air? Will LaTisha publicly address what happened? Will the cast be able to move forward after such a frightening incident? One thing is clear. This moment has changed the narrative completely. What started as a simple attempt to clear the air ended in sirens, hospital monitors, and emotional shockwaves that are still being felt behind the scenes. Stormi's collapse wasn't just a shocking television moment. It was a reminder that reality TV may capture real emotions, but those emotions come with real consequences. And as fans wait for updates on her recovery, one question continues to linger. Was this just an argument that went too far, or a warning sign that the emotional pressure within the group has reached a breaking point? Because if this situation proved anything, it's that beneath the lights, cameras, and dramatic storylines are real people with real limits. And sometimes when those limits are pushed too hard, the outcome is far more serious than anyone ever expected. This story isn't over, not even close, and whatever happens next could change everything.